All right, all right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Coffee and Cigar live stream here on the Ono Coffee Channel. What's happening? Hope you're all doing well. Glad to see all of you here. So today is May 2nd, and as you might have noticed on the thing, it's we are live in Los Angeles. As you can tell, it's pretty bright here. I'm actually at the Montebello golf course. I'm actually staying here. Actually, this is a golf course that is closed. They're actually under renovation, and I'm not sure when they're planning to reopen, but they're planning on reopening soon. I got a hotel here that's actually surprisingly quite nice, and yeah, so that's where I am at the moment. And so, how y'all doing? What's going on back home, and where everybody is? Let me know. You know the whole deal. Want to know what you're smoking, what you're drinking, where you are, and all that. I've got some beverages here. I ended up getting a quick lunch. I flew into Los Angeles. My flight arrived right before noon. But you know, you get to the airport, you got to wait for the plane to taxi. You got to get off the plane. You got to walk. You got to go to baggage check claim, get your bags, jump on the rental shuttle, go to the rental center, rent the car, get it all together. And I've got this. What is it called? This is a Cadillac something 400. Right. This is the SUV. They asked me, "Hey, would you like to have an electric car?" And I was like, "Oh no, hell no, no electric cars for me." What's going on, Mom? How are you, man? Good to see you. And yeah, because I was like, "No, no, no, I don't want that. No, how about a pickup truck?" And I was like, "Pickup truck? Oh no, no, I want something that can hide my bags, right?" So there's a proper booth here with a cover. You know, that's the problem when you're in a pickup truck. You really can't hide your stuff too well. And I wasn't coming to the hotel right away after checking, getting after coming into the airport or whatever you call it. So I went to some other place. Oh, so where I went to a place called Teofilo Coffee in Los Alamitos, which is kind of close to Long Beach. And so if you're familiar with Los Angeles, Montebello, this golf course, is kind of in East LA or north of East LA. And Alamitos is close to Long Beach, which is pretty far away. And I was like, man, but I was thinking, let me go check out this coffee place. They do all these coffees from the Philippines. And I was like, okay, let me go check it out. Let me go run down there real fast. And then on the way back, so I got some coffee from them. On the way back, I got me some Jollibee for lunch. Got some quick, what do you call it? I got some chicken tenders because, that's what I needed to have. And I got a couple hours now before I go to dinner. I got this dinner that Rusty was telling me a place called Le Comptoir here in Los Angeles. He was like, hey, man, you got to go check it out. They've got a great coffee service. I was like, oh, Le Comptoir. All right, let me look it up. And I went on their website and they had a reservation open for today. I was like, all right, let me book it. I had no idea what's going on with the place. I don't even know how much it costs. I was like, and then, but with all the taxes and everything, I was like, oh, $230. Holy crap, that's a lot of money. So we're back to doing a full-on tasting menu tonight at 7:30. So that's just a good time here. Right now it's just past 5 p.m. here in Los Angeles, so 8 p.m. your guys' time on the East Coast. So by the time we wrap up our stream, I'll probably start heading to LA in the middle of our stream. So what's going on? George is with us. What's going on, George? On the balcony with my new wise man from my father. There's a wise man from my father? I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Oh, right on, right on. Well, we're not disappointed. So is it a mixed drink or are we back to like sober drinks today? I do have a coffee here from Teofilo. This is a Philippine Robusta that is the 2022 Philippine Coffee Competition's #1 Robusta lot. I forgot the actual farmer, but it's from the Philippines. It's a Robusta. You can see it here, brewed in an AeroPress with a metal filter. So it's got a little bit of minor sediments that come through. Still no alcohol. Wow, man, I'm really, really surprised. I'm really surprised. Are we waiting? Are we sober until school is out? Is that the whole deal? So this coffee, when I first had it, when it was still hot, a couple hours ago, it's been a couple hours, the first taste had these kind of banana characters, right? Now it's got a little more fruitiness to it. Definitely a natural processed coffee, a little bit more stringency. Early on, when it was still hot, I thought it was a little bit on the baggy, dry side. I don't think that's so much anymore. pretty darn good, pretty darn good. You know what I should do? I should open the windows on my car here since we're going to have a cigar. I don't want anything to. And if there are any wafting, it can waft through the vehicle rather than into the vehicle and just get stuck, right? You know what I'm saying? Craig is with us. What's going on, man? How are things in Ottawa? How's the weather? How's the weather in Baltimore? I'm kind of curious. I haven't, I've been away actually since Monday. On Monday, I drove up to Boston to go visit my aunt who lives up in Boston and in the Boston area. I brought my parents with me, so that was a whole, like, you bring your parents, it's like you have all this stuff that you have to do as well. Let me just readjust something here. Just going to change the mounting setup just so that I can get a little better. Okay, that's better. Oh, God, no, I go insane. Been having a little wine on the weekend. Probably bake it fully for my birthday. Excellent, excellent. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. So while I was at the Jollibee, so the Jollibee is actually in Cerritos, because I wasn't going to Jollibee per se. I found this Filipino bakery that my sister-in-law told me about, a place called Luisa and Son. And I was like, oh, let me go check that out. So I drove over there. It was only a few minutes away about 11 minutes away from the coffee place, and got some baked goods. And next door they had this like Filipino grocery store. And I was like, oh my gosh. One of the girls at the coffee shop, she was like, we make this drink. She made me a ube latte, which is the other drink I had. I still have a little bit, well, not really, I just have the cup. But as you can see, if you're familiar with Filipino ube latte stuff, it doesn't have a heavy, like bright purple color. This is a very dull brownish purple, which is really more what ube is really like in the world. Rusty's with us. What's going on, Rusty, man? Good to see you. And so she made it, and I was like, so what did you use for the ube stuff? And she said, well, actually, we use this ube sweetened condensed milk. And I was like, what are you talking about? Sweetened condensed milk? That's ube. She's like, yeah, they have it at the grocery store. What? And so when I went to this Louis and Son Bakery, next door was a grocery store called, not Seafood City, but another place. I forgot the name. And I was like, let me go run in here and check it out. They had that. They had the mango. They had chocolate, sweetened condensed milk. Supposedly they had pandan, sweetened condensed milk, but they didn't have any of that. So I was like, oh, wow, this is crazy. I've never even heard of this kind of stuff. Let me buy a couple cans. So I brought a couple cans. I'll fly them home with me and go play with them when we get home. George says currently 82 degrees in Ellicott City, and it got, oh, nice, nice. Here, when I arrived in LA, it was about 68 degrees, kind of cloudy, overcast, a little bit of rain had happened before I arrived. Now we're nice and bright and sunny. As you can see, bright and sunny out here. Very comfortable, like 80s as well. So kind of nice Southern California weather. Yeah. So after I went to the market and got the baked goods at the bakery, there was a Jollibee in the parking lot. This is the thing about this whole area. Like, when you go to certain areas of LA, like Cerritos, that area, there's like Filipino joints everywhere. It's like, oh, this is like something I'm not used to seeing. But I jumped in line at Jollibee, got 3 strips of chicken tenders, French fries, drink, $12 or $13. Oh my God, man, kind of crazy. And then, like, with the pie, I got they do at Jollibee, they do fried pies, right? They do fried. So it was a mango peach pie, fried, and total was like $17.50. So not, I mean, expensive, but not. I guess it's better than eating, I don't know, Jack in the Box. No, it's not. Jack in the Box, very good. 80 around here in New Jersey as well. Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, I don't know how it's been the last couple of days, but this past week that I was in Massachusetts, it was pretty chilly, like 50s. So not too nice. So I was thinking, okay, I got to get ready for the show. I was there like at 3:45. So about an hour ago or hour and a half ago, I was just there. And I was like, man, I got to get to the hotel. It's at least a half an hour drive through traffic on the 605 and up to the 5. But I need a cigar for the show. Otherwise, I don't, I'm going to hunt one down. And so it turns out there was a cigar shop just around the corner from the Jollibee. So I drove over there. Really local style joint. Like, this place had a patina of yellow brown, like everywhere. Like, it was like one of those places everyone's just kind of sitting in in like big stuffed chairs. It's a place called Cigar Time in Cerritos, and it's like nobody looked like they wanted to get up. Everything was like unclean, and like everything was all like, you know how glass gets cut, like a humidor glass when it's humid and there's smoke, it gets that kind of like that like translucence to the glass. Pretty much everything was like that. The guy was like, "Hey, how's it going?" I said, "Hey, what do you have?" He got out of the chair that he was sitting with the regulars. I mean, it was really quiet at the time that I was there. And I was like, "Well, what do you guys have that's interesting?" And he said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, like what's unique to your shop?" He was like, "Unique?" And he didn't know what to say, but I did see this in the case, and I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but it's something called a Cusano 18, and it's a Cusano 18 Maduro Church. I got the Churchill, Cusano 18 Maduro Churchill, and this is going to be our cigar for the day. I have no idea anything about it. Yeah, let's break into it. I'm gonna tear open the wrapper. I mean, there's a slight tinting of brown to it. Now he said that it was cut. It's been around for a while. I'm not too familiar with it. We've got some blotchiness on it. Look at that. What is that? Is that plume, or is that? It does rub off. Is this plume, or is this bacteria that's going to kill me later? You got some here. Will that rub off? I don't know. That's a splotchiness there. See, there's a little bit of pluminess here on the end cap. I don't know what that is all about. That's sketchy looking. Let me get my accoutrements. I was reading something online not too long ago. They were like talking about like, oh, if it's got this, not plume, but whatever they call it, bacteria or something, you probably shouldn't be smoking it. You should just toss it. Well, it's only what I got, and I don't know how much the cigar cost, but I went to the register. He was just like, give me $10. And I was like, $10, all right, that's cool. So this is the Cusano 18 Maduro. Doesn't look terrible, right? Slightly veiny, but it's a little bit rougher in texture. Like sometimes we get cigars that are very silky and satiny on the fingers. This is a little bit rougher. There's a little more texture. Not a heavy roughness, but just a little bit. Just it's different in that respect. So today's cutter is one of my favorites. Also one of the cheapest, the Gerard cutter from Switzerland, from Vahe. Vahe gave me this when I was there in 2014. Single blade, El Cheapo cutter, but it's from Vahe Gerard, and I keep it in my travel kit here when I'm on the road. So if I need it, I can cut it. Cut that a little bit off there. Rusty says, "Unique? Well, we have these cool acid cigars." Nice, exactly. And for the lighter, I got my El Cheapo Japanese lighter. I picked this up in Tokyo last year. This is by a company called Este, made in China, of course, but you can see the Japanese writing. And it's a little butane lighter, right? Look at this. It's got a little torchiness, and it's one of those like windproof. It's actually quite nice. It only costs like maybe a couple dollars, maybe no more than $4. And you can see it's still got a little bit of fuel, and I think I can even refill it. Look at that. And so far, TSA has not confiscated this, which is kind of surprising. So we're gonna light it up. I forgot to do a cold draw, didn't I? Oh well. The only thing about this, it even has a colored light. I don't know if you can see that the flame is actually red, and it's not too long, so you really got to get close to it. I think these are really designed more for cigarettes. I mean, cigarette smoking is very popular in Japan, even today. And Tony says, "What's going on, Tony? How are you doing?" We are smoking the Cusano 18 Maduro. I don't know if you've heard of that, but I have never heard about it. I picked it up at a place called Cigar Time in Cerritos here in California. And as you can see, I'm wearing a nice shirt today, little dress shirt, because I brought this one along because I'm heading to dinner this evening. The other day, Rusty was like, hey, man, there's a place called Le Comptoir you should check out in LA. So I was able to get a reservation. I was like, well, let me pack a shirt that's kind of nice. I didn't have anything that I needed to bring a nice shirt to. So I wasn't planning on bringing a nice shirt. But then when I got this reservation, I was like, I better go get a nice shirt and bring it with me. And Rusty says, Tony, I'm having a Diet Cherry Pepsi in your honor tonight from my trip to Oahu. Nice, nice. So it's starting out rather nondescript. It's not a flavor bomb. It's not necessarily terrible. Let's see where it goes. The other choice was a big, like thicker than a Toro, like I don't know, like a 58 ring gauge. It was pretty thick. It was probably a thick Toro. And I was like, I think that's too thick. Let me get something a little bit thinner. Actually, this Churchill looked more like something closer to a double Corona compared to the one that was sitting next to it. I was like, oh. And Tony's also having Diet Cherry. Excellent. Well, speaking of Matt, one of the problems that I'm having when you go to restaurants nowadays, like Jollibee, for example, what is Jollibee? Jollibee's a great little Filipino like fast food joint, but the problem is it's a Pepsi joint. So this is actually Diet Pepsi, which is my backup drink for tonight. It's starting out relatively benign. Like it's starting out like one of these cigars that, like this guy over here, right? I don't know if you can see him. See the groundskeeper mowing the grass? That's pretty much what this cigar tastes like at the moment. Starting out, a nice cigar to mow the grass. One that's not terribly demanding. The smoke production is a little bit lighter than I would like. It's also a little bit. I think because it's got less copious amounts of smoke. It feels like the draw is more difficult, but I wouldn't say the draw is difficult really. It just is like you would like to have more smoke, or maybe it's more. I want to have more flavor. Right? Craig says, I think I had a fiver Cusano 18 a long time ago from Vigar's International, and it's a Dominican, if I recall. Does it say on here? Paired Maduro, aged 18 years. Maybe the wrapper's 18. This is one of those things where, like, if you were to take an 18-year-old wrapped, like, for example, the 1995 Partagas not Cuban, but both actually Cuban release, but I didn't get to try the Cuban one. But the Dominican or the non-Cuban version released their 150th Anniversario, which used 18-year-old Cameroon. I think it was Cameroon wrapper. Even today, those cigars are still very like wonderful to smoke. Complexity, but I think it's not just like maybe this has a nice wrapper, 18-year-old wrapper, but it doesn't necessarily have fillers and binder that it will complement it. It's just, oh, Cigars International, the online, gotcha. Not Vigars. But if is indeed, like I say, 18-year-old, if it's also indeed, I mean, 10 $10. It cost me $10, right? $10. For an 18-year-old wrap cigar, that's $10. It's not bad. I mean, it's not the price is not too bad. Like you would think the 18-year-old wrapper, you'd see people charging $20 for it. This I got for $10. Probably better at 6, but you know, I don't know how much they would actually cost from Cigars International. Like it doesn't really like it's even cracking. Look at that. It's starting to crack. Like I want it to be exciting. It's not terribly exciting. Like if we had to give a score now for flavor, God, maybe good at the most. Maybe I'm stretching. I feel like I'm stretching to say good. Average, average, be average. 6, 6.5. Body, light medium, but the quality of the body isn't really even there. Let's say again, 6.65. Maybe we'll say 6.5 just to be more generous. Maybe it should even be lower. I don't know. Not terribly exciting. Not terribly exciting. Tony says, I'm lighting up a Crown Heads 4 Kicks Cuppa Especial Lancero and having the Dietary Pepsi. Excellent, excellent. Mom says, maybe it's a bundle stick. It could be. I mean, they came in boxes. They were in boxes. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Brian says, you're smoking a Gurkha. Yeah, God. It's about as exciting as a Gurkha. Like, honestly, the way that it's starting off, I wouldn't even, if I was mowing a lawn, I wouldn't even smoke this on the lawn. Look, because like you say, now they're older. We're at a point where it's like, I don't want to buy cheap cigars just to pass the time on the lawnmower. If I'm going to buy a cigar for the lawnmower, I want to buy something I'm going to enjoy. So far, this is not one of those. Family's doing well. You know, drove my parents up to Boston. They're with my aunt now. I was there for a couple of days. Now I'm here for a few days. I'll fly back to Boston, pick them up and drive home. So that, the drive is long. It's about 7, 8 hours, depending on how long you stop and how many stops you make. But I've done that. I've done this drive to Boston quite a few times. I would like to I wish I had more time in Boston to go do a few things, like make the drive to New Hampshire to go visit Two Guys Cigars. Maybe drive up to Vermont to go visit some friends, but I won't have that kind of time this trip out. This is one of those times when it's actually very rare. But this is one of those times where it's actually difficult. I'm hoping that there'll be some progression, some change, some excitement coming out of it. But right now, it's just flat and average, just so average, just so not exciting to me. And maybe that's just my palate, but man, I'm just kind of I would be struggling to find superlatives to say about this cigar right now. It's that thing. I'm outside. It's beautiful weather here. It's nice and cool. Maybe now it's about 75 degrees. Sunny by the golf course in the shade. What a nice time it is to be out here. But man, Bud wants to know, I joined a little bit late, but what coffee are you doing tonight? I'm doing this coffee it's a Robusto coffee from the Philippines, from a place called Teofilo Coffee here in Los Alamitos, south, or just a little bit north of Long Beach. It's nice coffee, actually, from the Philippines. Not terribly bad. Brian says, like a bad marriage, maybe they'll change. Oh, man. It's also cracking. See, it's cracking. Look at that. It's cracking even more. And, you'd think that in the cigar shop it'd have a nice conditions, but I did leave it in the car while I was checking into the hotel. So in the car, it probably was there for no more than an hour, maybe at the most, which could be enough time to like damage it. I don't know. But yeah, look, it's just getting worse. It's getting progressively worse. It's ballooning. I hear you on that one. I hear you on that one. Yeah, so I rode up to here, just a little bit, really at the north part of East LA. I was thinking about looking for King Taco. I've never been to King Taco. I've only heard about it. I was like, oh, I should go to King Taco at some point. But East LA. I don't know if I'm tough enough for East LA. The hotel didn't have a fully. I could have stayed probably close to the hotel, but maybe there's smoking gardens or something. But I figured I'd get away from all that because I have a dinner to attend at 7:30, so I'll need probably right around 6 o'clock here, which is about 9 o'clock in your East Coast time, to start heading that way. So we're gonna get on the road. Hopefully, my other phone is ready to work. My last trip when I was out here, say like Las Vegas, Salt Lake, I was using this phone. And I thought, you know what, man, I'm using it as a navigation. I've got it mounted to the car, and I'm like driving around, like I would like to take some pictures, but I would need this phone to take pictures, right? So I was like, man, let me bring my other phone, my old iPhone 10, tether it, internet, and I'll use that as the navigation device. But the darn thing won't charge. So the cable just doesn't charge it. I'm like, oh my God, man. It's a whole fiasco. It's a whole fiasco. Oh, we're starting it a little bit better combustion, I think. The smoke in that last puff was a little more copious. If you're just joining us, we were smoking the Cusano 18 Maduro Churchill. And it's been relatively nondescript, relatively benign. They had another cigar that I probably should have got. It had a green label, a green band. I don't remember what it was called now, but I was like, oh, let me get that. Then I saw this because the green one looked familiar. This one was completely unfamiliar to me. So I was like, all right, let me try something completely unfamiliar. And yeah, it is what it is. So like I said, I got this Cadillac SUV. They were asking me, well, I said, well, I walked up to the rental center, and I was like, hey, they're like, we reserved the SUV. I was like, yeah, the small SUV. I was like, cool. They're like, would you be okay with a electric car? I was like, no, 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 no electric cars. Not that I'm against electric cars, but I also have to drive to San Diego at some point, and I have to go drive out to Corona. I have to drive to Corona on Saturday. I'm going to drive back to LAX tomorrow, come back, do some errands, go out to Corona on Saturday, go down to Gardena on Sunday, drive down to San Diego on Monday, and come back that same day. And I'm like, I just don't have the time to futz around looking for a charging system. I just want to gas and go. And I said, I can't really, I said, I don't have the luxury of electric this time. They're like, well, how about a pickup truck? And I was like, I don't want to have to worry about hiding my belongings, right? So they gave me this. So it's got a covered boot, which is great. So I can put all my stuff in there, especially like this early before coming to the hotel. I could go to a couple places, check out some stuff, and not necessarily have to worry too much about it. I've become more paranoid about that recently. I don't know why. I'm just much more paranoid about it. And so I get in this thing, and it's like, it's nice. Like, this is a luxury Cadillac. But everything feels just kind of funky, right? Like, the cars that I've had, like, over the last few times were, like, Toyotas. I had the Jeep the last time. They're fairly easy to figure out. This one is, like, all this, I don't know, there's just so much stuff to figure out. I'm like, God, what is going on here? Where is the plugs, right? Where's the plugs? Like, there's almost no plugs. Like, there's one USB-A plug, but it's inside the center console. And like, there's nothing on easy to access, right? Then they've got this car charging port underneath the dash that you have to get. I can't even see it. And for whatever reason, the little like travel lighter thing that I have that for USB doesn't stay fully in. It keeps sliding out. I'm like, what the hell is? I'm like, God, man. And the shifting system isn't like intuitive. You're like, what in the world's going on here? I mean, I got it to work. It was a bit, getting the Bluetooth to sync was a bit cantankerous. I was like, man, this is just frustrating. I was so, there was a moment, I'm sitting in the rental car parking lot and it hurts. And I'm like, just angry. I'm like, ah. So it was a little bit unhinging. I just knocked it out a little bit. My brother-in-law, Ricardo, says King Taco is very good. If you can't, oh man, of course, man. Oh, actually, King Taco, I have heard about King Taco for 30 years now. Ever since I started coming to LA, I've always heard about King Taco, King Taco. If you get out to East LA, go to King Taco. And I was like, go to King Taco? Yeah, that sounds pretty good to me, man. Sounds like muy sabroso, you know what I'm saying? And so maybe now's my chance. Maybe now is my chance. Maybe tonight, after I come back from going out wherever I'm going out to, I call some of my friends here in LA. I was like, hey, man, I'm in town. Let's get together. All right, let's get together. So maybe after dinner, go out, hang out. Then later, King Taco. Although I'll probably suspect I'll be pretty tired after the dinner. Maybe I'll just go home and sleep. Like at my aunt's place, like she only has a spare bedroom. So my parents have been sleeping in that spare bedroom, and I've been sleeping on the couch, which is pretty uncomfortable. So I really haven't slept very well. I'm like, and I'm doing all the driving. So I'm like, man, I am kind of tired. So I was flying over here and I was like, man, I'm pretty tired right now. I got in the car, drove. I'm still pretty tired. I'm like, man, maybe tonight I'll just, because, you know, by the time I finish this dinner, it'll be close to like 1 a.m. East Coast time. Maybe I'll just be like, I just need to go and crash out. Because my brother's flying in tomorrow. So I got to hustle to the airport. I thought he was going to get a flight that was going to be here a little bit later in the day, like 1 o'clock, noon, 11:30, like my flight was. Man, his flight arrives at 9 a.m. And I was like, oh, you're killing me, dude. You're killing me. But we're actually here because of one of my mentors I used to do paintball many years ago. And one of my mentors in the paintball business, he passed away recently. So all of the memorial services, and they're not really services, there's actually a memorial game on Saturday at a place called Satcong Village, SC Village out in Corona. So that's happening at 8 a.m. So we got to hustle out there by 8 a.m. It's like a 45-minute drive away. And then there's another event, a luncheon in Gardena on Sunday. So it's a whole weekend of events to honor our friend Earon Carter. And so I brought out all my old gear. Can't believe I still fit in. I think I might have mentioned this last week. I was like, I can't believe I fit in this stuff. My fat butt is all fitting in there. I can't believe it. Brian says, I had a red chili sandwich for lunch. Ooh, a regular sandwich with red chili pork. Oh, that sounds good, my man. That sounds so tasty. In Massachusetts, so before I drove up on Monday, I heard about this thing. I somehow discovered there's something called South Shore Bar Pizza. And the South Shore is basically the area south of Boston before you get to the Cape, right? There's a river at a place called Quincy. Right? There's a town called Quincy south of the city. There's a river there called the Neponset River. And once you cross the Neponset, south of the Neponset River is where this South Shore Bar Pizza is. And basically the idea behind it is that a lot of the working class Irish immigrants, started to enclave in the South Boston area, south of the South Shore area. And somehow in their bar world, these pizzas evolved. And they're pizzas that are 10-inch pan pizzas, so individual pizzas. They cook them in these like pans, right? They're thin crust, like kind of like cracker style crust, so thin and crisp. And then they use this really savory sauce with kind of like a American cheddar, like really gooey, melty cheddar. And so I'd heard about it, and I was like, man, we gotta go check it out. So I dragged all my family down to this one place called the New Page Cafe, or the Next Page Cafe in the town of Hingham. And man, actually really enjoyable. We got the shrimp scampi pizza, so white sauce with shrimp and butter and cheese, and then we got the regular red sauce with the cheese, and I got linguiça. My mom got the sliced meatball. Very good. The day before that, well, on the way up here, I brought them to New Haven, where we stopped by Frank Pepe's, which is like the classic New Haven place. And if you're not familiar with New Haven style pizza, coal ovens, 900 degrees, 90-second cooks, really kind of like some of the best pizza in America. But it does have some unique characteristics. Like, because they're firing it at such high temperatures, it's prone to some charring, right? Some burning, some bitterness on it. Part of the crust will be black. Part of the bottom will be black, right? Because it's so hot. I remember my mom is like watching some of the dishes go by as we're waiting for orders. She's like, why does it look black? And I said, because it's a high temperature, Mom. And she's like, maybe they should turn the temperature down. I was like, oh my gosh, that's such a hilarious thing to say. They thought my mom wasn't too pleased with the bitterness, right, from the charring. But then we went to the South Shore Bar Pizza at Next Page. She was like, "Oh, this is really delicious." Even my dad was like, "This is really delicious." So I had some vindication from, they didn't quite like the Frank Pepe's, but they did really enjoy the Next Page. So if you ever get to Boston or to the South Shore, look for the South Shore Bar Pizzas. There's quite a number of places there. I was reading an article. They had a list a few places. Next Page. I can't remember all the names, but there's a whole bunch of them that are now that I've tried it, it's worth checking out. They're very unique to this part of the country. So yeah, that's something to check out. The idea is that you go there after work and you order a pizza, you have your beer, you drink beer and pizza. I didn't drink anything because, I've got to drive and, that kind of thing. Yesterday we went to a place called Precinct 10. Sometimes my aunt gets hell bent on like things that she wants to do or she wants us to do, right? So she's like, we must have lobster. And I was like, well, we don't have to have lobster. It's all right. It's like, she's like, no, we must go here. I was like, all right, fine. And if you know my aunt is a tour de force. So it's like, there's just no like arguing with it. Like it's better just to be like, okay, let's go. Because you're just not going to win. And because this place, really nice place. They had they had this stuffed lobster. So lobster, 2-pound lobster, roasted, sliced, stuffed with the lobster meat, the claw meat, shrimp, scallops, and linguine in a butter lemon sauce. Delicious, really delicious. Rustic, easy. And then they had this bread, this bread that they served. That bread was good. Precinct 10, that was a good place. Also in Hingham. Tony Jackson, were you at the event last week? Or did Dave and I miss you? I don't believe I was at the event last week because I'm not even sure what the event was last week. What event was that? I don't recall. So here we are. We're kind of going through coming up to the end of the first third. They can see we're burning, we're smoking through the split. Evidently, I was home. I didn't really go anywhere. I haven't really gone out much at all these last few months. I haven't even smoked that many cigars. I was looking, as those of you who may not know that I do this, I keep a list on my phone of the cigars that I smoke every year. I just have it on the Apple Notes app thing, right? I just kind of list, real simple. Cigar number one, and I list the name of the cigar. I don't put a lot of detail, just the name of the cigar, the size, and all that. And every one I add. And man, I'm only like 1 year, 2015, I think was like the banner year. It was like 500 cigars a year. This year, man, it is now May 1st, May 2nd. I am only at, what? This is cigar number 75, I think. So I'm like normally, well, like lately, the last few years, it's been like 300 cigars a year. I'm way behind the curve. We're almost to June where I would, quote, technically be at 150. I'm only half of that. So I really haven't smoked a lot this year. No, I was not able to attend. How was it? Was it good? Did you have a good time? Have a good time? How's Pete? And I can't imagine that if I had been there and you had been there and Dave had been there, we would not have seen each other. Maybe a little bit better. I don't know. Dave says I need to pick up the pace. I know, man. I know. Terrible. Just falling behind here, falling behind. I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe the flavor 6.75, maybe 6.5, maybe 6.5. Because our scores are extraordinary is 10, 9 is excellent, 8 is very good, 7 is good, 6 is average, 5 is acceptable, right? It's average. It's got to be. It's only average. I can't say it was. I don't know. It was a great event. Oh, I'm so sorry I missed that. My gosh, it looked like it. Anytime that there's an event there, I think it's always going to be a good time. Yeah, last week I was burning fire at the house. But I realized that if I'm going to do that same setup from last week, I need to get actual lighting out there because in that part of it, there's just not much light. So by the time it got dark, it was like I could barely see myself. So next time we'll work on that. Well, how's it with the coffee? Let's see the coffee. Brian says, today the Ireland travel book was sitting on my desk. I'm going, oh, excellent, excellent. You should go. I have not been outside of Dublin. I've been to Dublin twice. Was there in 2016 and then last year, 23. I think Dublin is a great little town. I really would like to get outside of Dublin, go see more of the country, maybe go to Galway, and then head up to what do you call it? To the north. The interesting thing about Ireland is that, the wars happened now many years ago, in our youth. But evidently, it's still an undercurrent. And the interesting is that when I was in Dublin, I'm reading the news feed, and a lot of news about the royal family, the Queen and all that. And I asked one of my friends who's actually Irish, right? I said to him, hey, man, what's with like all the news? I see a lot of news about the royal family. I didn't think you guys would be into that. And he's like, well, we're not. I was like, oh, okay. All right. But evidently, like, especially when you go to the north, to Northern Ireland, like the border between Northern Ireland and Ireland is open. It's an open border. But evidently, the sense that I get from talking to people is that when Brexit came, it would only take a small thing to like spark it all up again and like make a hard border. And I was like, wow, really? It's still that tense there. So I hear it's tense. I don't know if it's tense, but everyone's like, if you go, you won't really see any of it. You probably won't see any of it because you're not part of it. I was like, okay. Even like, I guess the people that I knew that live there that are immigrants, Polish, mostly Polish people, Poles that have immigrated to Ireland to work, even if they go to the north, they're not part of that either. So it's like it's just such an interesting thing that it's still an undercurrent somewhere under there that could, if things were to go the wrong way, it could, I guess, spark up again. But really beautiful place to go. If you go there, go to Leo Burdock's for fish and chips. I really enjoyed that place. That's a good place. Tony asks, firstly, any suggestions for reasonably priced pro-style 36-inch dual fuel range? Mine died. Range? You mean the one inside your kitchen died? Already? Induction, baby. Induction. Some of my friends, their houses, they went full commercial. Actually, one of my friends recently, he just built a commercial kitchen in his house so that he could do some recipe development for his restaurants. The problem with like professional level cooking equipment, it's wildly cheap and like crazy hot. And that's the problem, is that it is designed for a professional environment where everything is hard around it. Because one of the big differences between professional and residential is that residential, like ovens and stuff, have a tremendous amount of insulation to protect the heat from penetrating through the outer walls. That way you can actually put it up against cabinetry and not catch the cabinets on fire, which is really an important part of it. But if you were to put commercial stuff in your house, you would have to design it in a way that it would be protected from the other equipment. Like I remember a friend of mine in his house, he had a commercial Wolf range top, 6-burner range, gas, in an island. I don't know how he insulated it though. I'm curious. Brian says Blue Baroques for ABC. Some kids. I'm smoking here. Go away. Rusty says I actually agree with Jay for induction. Induction good. 12 years is already. I think 12 years is not long enough, to be honest with you, especially for spending a solid amount of money. I would think 20 years on a range top should be the minimum. Like, yeah, I don't know. I think 12 is too short. Heat and sound, correct. Oh, nice, nice. That's, I think. Yeah, Leo Burdock's definitely is the way to go. I like that. But if you decide to go induction, have a look. You can buy like individual induction units. There's a company now. Oh, and actually, I was just talking to the reps about it. So there's a company called Polyscience in Chicago. My buddy Philip Preston owns it. He was basically the godfather of all of this sous vide technology, all of the immersion circulators and all this. And the company Breville bought out his culinary division of his company, and some of his chiefs from the culinary division went to Breville. And I saw them recently. We were hanging out a little bit, and they were showing me we were talking about Breville now makes something called, what's it called, Rusty? The smart top, smart something. They make an induction top. It's a tabletop, 120 volts. It's badass. It's like the badass. I have what I had when I bought my induction top 12, 13 years ago. It was the badass at the time, a company called CookTech. CookTech is also very, very excellent. super solid, really works well. But this new one, or the newer one from Breville Polyscience, is awesome. I can't remember what it's called offhand, but basically they have it, but what I'm leading up to, so that's like $1,200, $1,300. So it's pretty expensive for a one burner top. They have a new one that's coming out soon that is more designed for the home and will have a little bit more advanced features than the professional one. That might be something for you to look into. Sound from commercial is not great for most homes. Yeah, well, I don't know if you were to get up, but I definitely agree with you. Like if you're buying refrigeration, like that is just, yeah. Like I remember years ago when I bought my first lowboy refrigerator from Beverage Air when I was running the snowball place. So it was summertime use. So during the winter, I brought this one home because I loved it. And I was like, okay, this is awesome. Let me put this in my house and I'm going to use it now. I'm all pro, like I'm all like feeling pro. And it was fun. I didn't really think much about it. And then when we pulled it out of the house to take it back to the shop the next year, I remember in my kitchen, I'm thinking, wow, it's quiet as all hell in here. Like I couldn't believe how quiet it was. I hadn't thought about how much white noise those active blowing commercial refrigerators actually produce. But I think that if we're just talking about range tops and ovens, I don't think they're very noisy. Well, when you turn, if you get the ones that have the convection, they're going to have the motor and the fan. That's probably going to be quite noisy. Baldhead says the Breville is expensive, but their claim is, yeah, I haven't seen the price. I mean, I can't imagine that it's cheap. Like the Cooktech, when I bought it back in 2009, was $600. The new Breville, that's now going to be the old one, was 1,300. So maybe they're going to deliver it around 8. Still expensive for what it is. I mean, but still expensive, but it is truly like next level. Like I have been lusting after the Breville one for like since it came out. I was like, well, I really like to buy that. But spending $1,300 on a cooktop, it's a little much. It's a little spicy. It's expensive. Brian says, Rusty, Sub-Zero and Viking, yes or no? Oh, Rusty says Viking. I think Viking follows more of the commercial style of construction, whereas Viking kind of looks like it is. And you have to be careful. Like sometimes you'll see things like, have you ever seen the Wolf line of home things? Like especially the Wolf toaster oven, or they have a convection oven that's tabletop. It's got all this stainless and it's got these big red dials. It looks like the true big professional, but it's really not. It just looks that way. It's just kind of like a panacea. It's just a panacea. So be careful of that. It all depends. And the nice thing is that if you go to places like the Webstaurant store or the restaurantstore.com, which are actually the same parent company, you can find commercial equipment. And they're, I don't know what the cost is because I haven't really priced it out, but you can find them relatively cheap. Again, they're going to be uninsulated. You will violate the warranties on them by putting them in a residential setting. But, it all depends on how much risk you're willing to live with. Tony says, I have a 36-inch hole in my island that has power and propane, so I need to go classic dual fuel, plus no induction cookware. Oh, all right. Brian said, his GE profile, 22 years old. Yeah, I think I would expect I would expect home equipment to last like a good 20 to 30 years. Like if I spent some serious money on it, I'd be very upset if it lasted 12 years. I'd be like, what the hell? 12 years? What is this rubbish? Brian says, I managed 2 kitchen. We would laugh at sound from, oh yeah, man. Like at Spro, there's times it's like, oh, you're like, oh God, this is just terrible. Like actually with the new place, I'm thinking like, I want to put the refrigeration in the back where I can close the door, and then in the main room only have passive refrigerators, so that it's all quiet. Like I've really come to enjoy the quiet much more. 1300, 13. I think that's the 1300. I think that's for the current model. There's a new model that's coming out for home that is supposed to be cheaper. The guys didn't have the pricing because they're not in charge of the marketing side of what's going on at Polyscience Breville. They're just working on the actual equipment. But I don't think it's going to be 13 for the new one. I don't think. I could be wrong. Maybe that's out. American range. Hey there.
Oh, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
I thought are you getting yourself ready to go play tomorrow? Are you playing?
Paintball?
Huh?
Golf? No.
Yeah.
Is it open tomorrow?
Grand openings.
Oh, I didn't know. No, I'm actually staying at the hotel, so I do a live stream about cigars and coffee every Thursday evening at 8 o'clock East Coast time. So I'm just doing that right now.
Oh wow!
Yeah. Oh, I knew it was under renovation. I didn't know that it was opening.
So what you should do, not to give you any kind of idea, because since you're staying here, right? I've lived here my whole life.
Okay.
Matter of fact, we're celebrating. My mom's celebrating her 50 years living in the house on Sunday on Cinco de Mayo.
Oh wow!
Right?
Awesome.
So it's a big thing for we're Mexican, right?
Okay. Yes.
So right here, right? You're staying in this hotel or the other
Yes.
one?
Yes. This one.
So right there in the patio, where the thing is, having yourself facing down is a beautiful view because they're looking at you through your back of your car right now.
That's
right?
correct. That's correct.
So having that view, grand openings tomorrow.
All right.
Just a peace of mind. What's your name?
I'm Jay.
Steven.
Steven, pleasure.
It was
man.
a pleasure meeting you. I'm going to go down there and try to beg them to let me go play tomorrow.
Right on. Good luck on that.
Right?
I hope you
And
get
Top
to.
Golf opens tomorrow too.
Oh really?
Yeah. You ever try Top Golf?
No.
You got to just go check out the facility.
Okay. It's also here.
Yeah, it's on the bottom of the golf course.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
It's brand new. They closed this for almost a year. This is my home course.
Awesome.
So that's opening up tomorrow. You can put that on there as well.
Right on. Steve, have a good one.
Beautiful scenery over there.
Awesome. I'll check it out. California people are so friendly out here, so friendly. American Range is I've seen their equipment. I haven't never used it. They're also another commercial company out there. Brian says Breville single burner. Yeah, the Brevilles are all single burners. If you punch in their Breville Polyscience, what is the name of the darn thing? I can't remember the name of the controller. I mean, it's got a name to it. Smart something. I can't remember. I don't know. Yeah, but they're $1,300. But the thing is that these Polyscience Breville burners are like, I mean, they're awesome. Like the Cook Tech. One of the things about the Cook Tech that I have at the time was super advanced, right? There's two modes. One mode is just kind of like low to high, right? And it's got a whole like 20-degree variance. Then you could dial it in so that you could dial in at a certain temperature. Let's say you want to dial it into, I don't know, 185 degrees. You could set it to 185 degrees. The unit would heat it up and could sense and kind of hold it at 185 degrees, sort of. The Breville Polyscience one, the new one, that's $1,300, or the new one, it has a different kind of sensor on the bottom, at the center of it, that more accurately will read the temperature of the metal. And I think it penetrates the reading so that it gets the content. And then you can also attach a thermometer to it so that you could control the internal temperature. So it will heat it. I don't really understand all the function, but it will heat it to a certain temperature, and then it will heat it. It will also control how much heat it gives, and give it until it reaches a certain internal temperature, and then change. So, but man, if you're, I mean, really, it's not that Polyscience is not really a home unit. It's really designed for like professionals who want that kind of controllability. And there's a number of chefs that I know that have them, that do use them. I could never justify that cost. Like, I want to justify the cost. I just can't justify the cost. I'm like, holy crap. Tony says the GE Cafe is 13 grams. Ooh, 13 grand. My gosh, man. That's crazy. Control Freak. There it is. Okay. Oh, so 13 is for the Breville Control Freak. Oh, wow, really? They're costing you that much? How much is okay, thank you for the Control Freak, because I forgot that. How much is the normal Control Freak then? because I thought that was already at 13. And Brian asked, "Is Breville a standard outlet?" Yeah, it should be. I believe they have a 120 volt version, which will be typical. I think it's 120 volt 15 amp. It could be 100 volt 20 amp. I'm not sure. Well, it's probably 15 because the maximum they can draw on 120 is probably 1800 watts. So that I mean, I guess I'm going to imagine they do have I don't know this for sure, but I imagine they have a 240 volt version. That'll be up to 3600 volts, I think it is. 7600 watts, because I do have a 220 volt Cook Tech that I've actually never used. I got it used, and I haven't really been able to use it. And 1000 for if you join Chef Steps. Ooh, I was like, that's all I need to do is join that. And I was asking them if because I think they're going to sell them through Williams Sonoma. I think I get a 20% discount on Williams Sonoma because I belong to the Pro Chef program at Williams. And so certain items, not everything, I've learned the hard way that not everything is covered under the 20% discount. Like I was buying that Vacuvon thing, and I was like, all right, I'll buy that because I get 20% off. They're like, oh, that doesn't apply to that. I was like, what? Okay, okay. 1,500, man, $1,300. God, that's a lot of money. I thought it'd be under. I thought the home version would be sub 1,000. Like you got to be a serious home cook to buy that, or just seriously crazy. But the one that I do want to get, the one item that I would like to really buy, I think it's made by a company called Anova. They have this. I don't know how to describe it, but basically, there's this company on the commercial side that does these things called. Oh, now I can totally see what it looks like. I can totally, but I can't remember the name. Anyway, you see them a lot now in fast food restaurants, like McDonald's has them, and all of them have them stacked. And they have these newer units that are kind of like they have these like plastic trays that slide in with a handle, and they put all the patties in there, and it holds it. A Winston Vac, Winston. It's Winston Industries, I think. And it does this like steam holding kind of thing that's really nice. And Nova has this one, and it's well, I think the Nova is more like a combi oven, like a home tabletop combi oven. There it is. Craig's talking about the sous vide sticks. Oh, those are nice. Those are nice. I haven't used those. I personally have only used the Polyscience sous vide stuff. I have to admit, I'm a bit of a loyalist to Polyscience. But the price points of some of those other ones are like super cheap. You're like, oh man, so tempting. I even have this one Polyscience unit that not only heats but chills, circulation. I was like, oh, I need to use that more. But good stuff, good stuff. So let's talk about this. We're down to our second third. The cigar has been okay. Like, it's okay. Average. A little bit better now. Right now, it's a little bit better. Feels better. But overall, just kind of average. Oh, it's already 9 o'clock. I should start looking to move. Let us move and do some preparation. I have to get everything ready. Get my cup together. actually, while we're waiting, while I'm setting some, I'm going to leave you with some views of the golf course that opens tomorrow. I'm so excited. So, like Steve said, the golf course opens tomorrow. It's been under renovation for a year. All right, check this out. Gonna have to move us over into driving position. All right, hopefully we're lucky. My phone will have, I'm not lucky. My phone has not done anything. It has done nothing. No charging whatsoever for the last like hour that we've been sitting here. This is highly irritating. I don't think this one even does the whole charge while holding. Okay, hold on one second, guys. I gotta jump off of this for a second. Sorry about that, guys. Speaking of Steve, are you out there, Steve? No sound. No, sorry about that. Sorry. Craig says the Nova Combi oven is 768, but Nova does lots of sales. Oh, nice. Okay. I think that's not a bad price for what it is. For what it is, I don't think that's terrible. Oh, I'm just trying to get my ball head. Good Lord. Okay. So here we are. So how is it going? I'm going to take this off before I take off. I think we're going to have some problems. Like, I feel like I'm going to lose connection. With my, see, this battery doesn't even work. I think it's working. I can't tell. This silly thing. All right, let's go. Okay, we're going to start heading out. Turn off the AC. Now, the thing is, my whole... Okay, how's that? Looking good? All right. Let's get to it. Sorry, just trying to get everything together here. So it's not so crazy. Don't worry. Hertz will never know. So I got all the windows down. So we should have pretty good ventilation. So our cigar, it's a little bit better. I don't know if I'm just saying that or if it really is a little better. Oh, so like I said, I'm staying here at the Montebello golf course, just a little bit north of East LA. Ooh. And if you're not too familiar, East LA is mostly Latino area. Sounds like there's mariachis happening. No, there's a big, that's what he's talking about. Top Golf has a big center here. Actually, my main concern is that, I've got the phone that I'm talking to you guys on the dash right in front of my face, as you can figure out. And I'm like, if I pass a cop, will they like get upset with me for this? Really, I'm just hoping that my phone will not die. Let's go look at directions here. 101 Soto Street. Shit, that's just too difficult. There is a moonroof. I don't know if it'll open. I'm sure it'll open. I haven't really played with it. Oh, look at that. Man, it's like I got a whole convertible going on. So right now I'm getting ready to get on the 60, the Pomona Freeway. Guaranteed it's going to be all traffic the whole way. It's, California, terrible. Yeah, it's pretty busy. This is probably the worst. It's just after 6 o'clock. This is probably the worst time to actually drive in LA. So I'm going to say 6.5 flavor and body. 6.5 for the first thing, the cold draw. So 13, 26. So 6.5 for the second, third. I'm going to say 26 plus 32.5. So we're 32.5. How far is Les Comptoirs? Les Comptoirs is 12 minutes away. which says it'll be here. We should be there by 6:53. Should take about 36 minutes. For those of you guys watching, the reason I'm going to Lake Comtois is because of Rusty. I posted something the other day. Rusty messaged me. He's like, "Hey man, if you want to be in LA, you should go to Lake Comtois. I hear they have a great coffee service." Oh, that sounds awesome. Let me go check it out. So I jumped online. I didn't know. Turns out I do follow Lake Comtois on my Instagram, but I didn't really put it together when I was talking to them. And I jumped online, went to their website, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we have a one seat. Well, there was a seat available. I'm just by myself, so they had a seat available for me, and so I jumped on it. And Lake Comtois is this place that's I forgot the name of the chef. Rusty, if you remember the name of the chef? It turns out he's a Filipino guy that used to work for places like the French Laundry up in Yountville. So he's got a good heritage or background of food, working for some really wonderful chefs. And what he built a 10-seat counter for a tasting menu. And it turns out it's $175 for the tasting menu. I think it's 10 courses. Turns out it's a vegetable tasting. So I'm like, oh, Gary Menez. There it is, Gary Menez. And so 10, with taxes and everything and service, that's $230. So when I finally processed, I was like, oh, $230. And then if you want to get like the coffee service at the end of the meal, it's $18 extra. If you want to get like some of the add-ons, like there's a protein add-on. But I'm thinking, you know what? I don't know if I'm going to go for any of those things, except for the coffee. I will go for that. Maybe some of the wine pairings, because I think that would be interesting. But if it's going to really be an all, I need some glasses. If it's going to be really an all it's going to be really an all vegetable tasting menu. I kind of just want to see what they do with the vegetables. Not necessarily have to worry about the protein. So I'm on a freeway, the 60, heading west, and then we're going to take the 101 north, which cuts through LA. Luckily, heading into LA, it's not too bad. Going out of LA, it's pretty heavy. I don't know if you can't really see it from that angle, but if you can see over to the other side of the freeway, you'll be able to see that the traffic is pretty heavy. I don't know if you can hear me that well. If it is, the windows are down. It is kind of loud. So we got about 4 miles to the 101. So we're going to cross the 710 Long Beach Freeway soon. One of the things I'm kind of tempted to do tomorrow is a group of friends of mine usually hang out at a place called the Cuban Sea on Sunset Boulevard on Friday nights. The Cuban Sea is a small little cigar shop across the street from the Viper Room that's run by a friend of mine named Dave. So if you're ever in LA, it's late at night on Friday nights, you should get there after 10 p.m. Just part of the problem is like if I go there tomorrow night, that's a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, and then 4 in the morning kind of night, and I have to be in Corona at 8, so I probably won't be able to go. When I'm driving in the car, I usually get this weird burn. Like you see this, it's burning. It suddenly starts to burn weird. The nice thing about this Cadillac, it's got good power. So if I need to hit it, it will get it. Yeah, if a police officer sees me driving He's gonna see the camera facing me. Roll over. Boop, boop. I presume that once we get to the 101, it'll be very heavy. Right now on the 60, man, it's smooth sailing. Smooth sailing. One of the problems I have with the windows down is that it's just kind of blowing around, so the smoke, I feel a little more smoke. See how it's burning unevenly? I don't know what it is about the weather, or the currents inside a vehicle that does this. Rusty says, don't forget to order your coffee at the beginning of service. I read that. I also read later after I made my reservation that you have to order some bread home when you make your reservation. So I sent them a message. I don't know if they got it or not. I didn't see any response. But I sent them another message later and said, I would still like to get the bread, please. So hopefully they got that. All right, we're getting the 101 North now. The 101 to LA. This is where the 60 meets the 5 meets the 101 freeways. And oh yeah, look at that, man. It is like that's up there. That's why you can't go careening at high speed. You'll see it in a moment on the side here. We're north. Here we coming in. Yeah, there it is. The traffic of LA. At least my cigar will burn normally. My lighter. Here it is. We're back again. I kind of would have liked to have just about the. It's always about the recharging. You know, like I'm staying at a hotel. There's not going to have chargers there, and I don't want to go someplace and have to wait half an hour for a fast charge. Ryan wants to know, am I near the Orange Crush? You know, I don't know. I'm not familiar with the Orange Crush. But I am right where the 101 and the 60 and the 5 meet, just north of downtown LA. In that little scramble of stuff. Next, you kind of want to look for the SWAT set. I don't know if you heard about this, but the TV series SWAT just got picked up for another season. They had canceled it, and now they picked it up again. So the restaurant is in a place called Koreatown. I don't know if it's sketchy or not. I think it's kind of sketchy in that area. One of the places that we used to go to a lot, I haven't been there in many years. Like if you go on a Friday or Saturday night at on Beverly and Rampart, those two boulevards here in downtown LA, it's kind of a rough area, or historically rough. There's a place there called Tommy Burger, and there's Tommy Burgers all over the region, but this is the original one, and it's really an interesting slice of life because all of LA comes there. Like you got gangbangers, and you got like hood guys, and you got like Beverly Hills kids, and like yuppies, and everybody just kind of gets together and eats these burgers that are filled with like chili, and it's super messy, but it's really quite tasty. Yeah, we're heading on the 101 now. we're getting off on a place called Fort Street. So I don't know if that's really, you can see the bridge in the background. This is the new bridge they just opened. Tony says, well, your Doctor Who shirt should either get you black tie service, or beat up. No doubt about that. No doubt about that. Nobody ever notices it though, man. Nobody has ever noticed enough to like at least comment about it. It's very, I'm a little bit disappointed. So we're getting off on 4th Street now. Luckily, we don't have to stay on the 101 for very long. Whoa, stop here. The guy in the Tesla 3 behind me is upset that I didn't go through the light. I could have gone through it, but I was like, you know what? I'm not in a rush. I'm right by Sakura Gardens. Sakura Gardens. So for this kind of thing, driving around, smoking a cigar, actually this is not bad. This is actually more enjoyable now that I'm driving because I've got other stuff to do and I'm just using the cigar to pass the time. That's one of the things that I didn't have on my trip to Boston, and I won't have on the trip home, is, you know, cigars. And my parents are with me, and I'm driving my mom's car, so it's like they would be very upset that if I rolled down the windows and smoked. Actually, my mom would be very upset if I just rolled down the windows because, you know, she doesn't want her hair to get all messed up, and they don't like that. So I thought it'd be you know, it's a nice. I find smoking while driving to be a nice way to pass the time. Cigar might take an hour, hour and a half, and you're on a multi-hour trip. It just kind of makes everything go smoothly. Oh, we're going over the famous bridge. Oh yeah, the 4th Street Bridge. This is the bridge you've seen in all the movies. That old school bridge for the 1920s. We're gonna go over that now. I almost never get the chance to go over this bridge. I'm kind of excited. I'm also inhaling a lot of smoke. Yeah, this is the bridge that you see in all the movies and TV shows. The one that goes over the LA River. You know, it's in the Fast and Furious and all those other films. Nice, nice. Glad I got my sunglasses with me. These are my travel glasses. These are from a company called Mother Tongue Coffee. One of my friends, Jen Apodaca, she owns it. She's up in Northern California. It's her company. She was like, this is some of the swag she was giving away. These are like, they're super cheap glasses, but, you know, I keep them with me because if I lose them, you know, I'll be a little bit sad, but I won't be like out like expensive glasses. So what we're now going to do is we're going to cut through downtown LA, go to the other side of downtown LA to Koreatown. And downtown LA is really interesting because I remember when I was coming here when I was a lot younger, like in the 80s, early 90s, it was pretty Skid Row-ish down there. And there's still parts of it that are very Skid Row. However, there's been a lot of development over the last 20 years. There's certain areas that are really, really nice. I think they redid a whole fashion district. One of my friends, oh man, I should call him. One of my friends, I don't know if you know a guy, a chef by the name of Chris Harvey. He's got his workshop down here. I totally forgot to call him. Sorry, Chris. That guy, when it comes to like pastry and patisserie and confiserie, he's like a master. He's truly a master. And I remember when we first met, he was telling me, I've been spending 15 years working on my Cannelé de Bordeaux recipe. And his Cannelé de Bordeaux recipe was pretty awesome. Like when I finally had it, I was like, oh, dude, this is some killer stuff. So we're about to cross over Alameda into an area called Little Tokyo. So I guess at some point in time, this is where a lot of the Japanese immigrants to the Los Angeles area moved to. You know, a lot of these places, Koreatown, Little Tokyo, these are places where immigrants moved and congregated, much like Little Italy's and other places like that in other parts of the country. And especially back in the olden days, these were pretty much the only places where these immigrants could move to, because they were essentially redlined and barred from other parts of the city. Right, Ash, are you going to drive through Skid Row? You know, I don't think so. I don't think this will take us on through Skid Row. I don't really know. I don't really recall where Skid Row actually is. God, these lights. There's a lot of lights here. Good Lord. I actually think maybe Skid Row's down that way. Down Central. I should ask this lady. Be like, excuse me, where is Skid Row? Well, but nice to sit down, drive around, windows down, cigar in hand. Gosh, I feel very LA. Actually, I'm not very LA because I think people in LA don't like it. There's somebody yelling. Some Mexican guy's yelling something, and I don't know. Maybe I should roll my windows up. If I was a real tough guy, I'd yell something out like, "Yeah, you come and get it, burro." I'm not a tough guy. I'm not a tough guy. Actually, I should drive way fast. Get away from that guy. Or, come get it, burro. No, we're not gonna do that. That's too bold. Oh, this could be Skid Row-ish. It's kind of sketchy. Oh, there's some Skid Row-looking guys over there. Oh, now I'm behind a cop. Great. That was a mistake. Hopefully he doesn't notice me. Look back. Somebody else get in front of me. Come on, burros. It's called Stonerware Distribution. For all your stonerware. Oh no, now he's moving over. I better move over too. I just want to get away from the cop so he doesn't see me. Thank you. Saying thank you to the nice Tesla guy behind me that let me in. Woman. Oh, kind of attractive looking woman. Oh. I don't know if you can see this, but as I pull up here, you're going to see some trailers in the parking lot here to my left. This is what we call base camp for a movie or production. Looks like the pretty much wrapped up for the day. Yeah, everything's wrapped up. So they finished shooting for the day. Oh yeah, there's a wardrobe truck, generator truck, grip trucks over there. I wonder what show they're shooting. Hey, Puro, what show are you shooting? This is a good time to get jacked. Windows are down, driving slow through the city. Oh, damn it. I totally made a mistake. Wrong lane. Thank you. Ooh, there's an El Pollo Loco down here. Now we're in the shadows of the city. We're really in downtown LA, Broadway and 3rd, right by the $1 Million Theater. With all these phones on my dash, people might think I'm an Uber driver, except for the fact that I'm smoking cigars. Oh, and the nice thing is we're going to go through the 3rd Street Tunnel. We're going through all of these interesting, like, movie landmarks. You'll recognize this from a lot of movies. That they've shot a lot of movies in this tunnel. So the cigar, not terrible now, but I think that's just more because I'm occupied driving. Okay, after this light, I don't know if we'll hold signal or not, but we'll find out. We're just going to go straight through. The BMW guys are checking me out. That's right, BMW. Come on, Burro. I'm going to go straight across now. We're at a Figueroa. This is Figueroa is where they shot down there. That's when they shot the Heat gunfight scene. Also, if you drive on certain parts of Figueroa, there's lots of like hookers somewhere. I saw this guy on YouTube posting about that. I was like, oh, I wonder where that is. Yeah, man. I feel choky in this thing. One thing about having all the windows down while you're driving is that it just kind of like, oh, damn it. Sorry, guys. Jesus, now I can't see a damn thing. I don't know if you noticed that guy with the moped, the scooter. Here in California, the motorcycles can do lane splitting, which, when I'm not used to that. So sometimes, man, when they go by you in the traffic between the cars, it kind of surprises me. It's one of the first times that I've used Google that it's taken me like on a more faster routing. A lot of times I find that Google just kind of gives you one direction, one set of directions, and it doesn't really deviate. It's like you go through the worst traffic, where Waze will actually work your way. Will try to work you around the traffic. Like I remember one time I was out in Houston, hanging out with a friend of mine out in the Woodlands. Oh, damn it! Now I lost my. Damn it! Now I have lost my directions. Kid. At least that's some time. We still got a good 10 minutes to go. I'm surprised this actually lasted that long. I think what's wrong with this phone is that it gets like all this lint and stuff inside the plug. So you gotta clean it out. Real pain in the butt. I don't remember if this phone actually has the induction charging, but there's actually an induction charging pad in this center console of the Cadillac, which is actually kind of a nice feature. I was using it to charge my this phone here that you're watching from. I'm gonna see if this will work. Maybe that'll work. If it works, that'll be cool. I just don't recall if the 10 has that feature. Well, the nice thing you can't really see here, but there's a vendor on the street vendor here selling the licuados. The licuados are the Mexican jugos, the different like juices that they're selling, like the fresa and watermelon. Oh yeah, we're right at Alvarado. So this is very Mexican area. I'm also scared here. Diet Coke, Diet Pepsi. I'm definitely, even though windows are down, I'm definitely inhaling a fair amount of smoke. Oh, here's another set. Oh, they're actually shooting. They've got a bunch of 10K HMIs on a crane at this place over here. Good to see that production has started in certain cases. One of the things I see with a lot of the union forums, a lot of guys are still talking about how production really hasn't resumed in a lot of parts of the country. You know, part of that is residual from the Screen Actors and Writers Guild strikes. That put, of course, what, 18 months, I think it was, of strike and halt of production. And now that my union, the IA, the IATSE, has their union, the union contract for the IA is every 3 years. So that's coming up. And the Teamsters is in the middle of negotiating. So there is a potential for another strike. So I think that some of the studios have been holding off from starting production because they're concerned about a strike starting again. So you go back to work, you start up work again, and then strike comes, you have to shut down. And so I think it could be part of that, but also I think it's a part of a way to get the union for the studios to get to squeeze on the unions, so that the union members will kind of cave on the contract negotiations. I mean, it does make sense to me. Like, if you're gonna, studios are pretty well financed and capitalized, so while they would like to have new content, I don't think they're necessarily pressed for new content. Our third and Rampart. So if you turn left, or if you turn right, you're left. Then you'll go up to Beverly, and that's where the original Tommy Burger is. Looks like the phone is charging good. tricky thing about this car, a lot of new cars do this. But when you stop, it'll shut down the engine. And then when you hit the gas again, it starts up and goes. I really dislike that feature. I would just like to turn that feature off. So what I read about this place is that when you get, it's next to a hotel. There's a hotel bar, so you can go there, get some drinks at the bar while you wait for your reservation. So even if I get there a little bit early, not a big deal. Of course, at this point, I really just am heading west. I don't really know where I'm going to turn or where I'm supposed to go. But I do know that we're not quite in Koreatown just yet. So I guess once it turns to be more like Koreatown, then I can start thinking about where I need to go. There's a Ralph's and a Vaughn's. Oh, Ralph and a Vaughn's right across the street from each other. Ralph and Vaughn's are the big supermarket chains here. And at this position, they're right across the street from each other. Jesus, are you going to hit me or what? Just take his time. Not like I'm going to get mugged here. Now that it's getting to sunset, I'm starting to feel a bit chilly. Good thing I brought my vest. At least we're close. Yeah, so we're now outside of the downtown area. We're moving away from downtown. More towards the Koreatown area. I'm almost done. Overall, I like LA. I've come here a lot over the years. A lot of the work that I used to do was based out of LA. So I've been here quite a bit. Although I don't know if I could live here. It's a little bit too much traffic. Like pretty much everywhere you go in LA, there's going to be traffic somewhere along the route. Plus, I remember back in 2010, right when I was opening the Hamden Spro, I was out here for about 2 weeks. And some of my friends were like, man, you should just open a shop out here too, man. Move out here. I was like, yeah, I could do that. I could open a shop out here, get me a flat, get me a car. I was like, man, give me a BMW. If I lived out here, get me a BMW, be part of the LA scene. And I was like, what am I talking about, man? I don't care about those things. I like to drive a truck. I'm definitely ingesting a lot of smoke. Nice, dude, nice. You know how you get that high when you're ingesting too much smoke? I'm kind of getting that. So much so that I'm stopping at all the yellow lights because I don't want to be impaired. Or I feel impaired. I could be feeling impaired. Or I could be, I'm feeling it. So I don't want to take any risks. I'm ready to start yet. Okay, good. It is starting up good. So luckily my phone is charged enough, the other one, that it's starting up again. I should probably turn the fan on. All right, I'm starting to see some Korean signs, so I'm definitely getting into Korea. Oh, Jinsu Bukgup. I'm definitely entering Koreatown now. Oh yeah, definitely. Look at that sign. Realtor Jessica Shin. I'm in low power mode. I gotta jump off for a second to restart my Wi-Fi connection. All right, I guess we're back. Yeah, it looks like we're back. Okay, so now I just got to figure out where I'm going. Of course, everything's going slowly. I got to turn. All right, so pretty much here is my cigar. I'm pretty much done. We have we're getting close to it. I'm in the neighborhood now. I went past where I need to go by several blocks. So we left off at what, 30, 13, 32.5, 13, 13. Is that right? 23, 26, 32.5, right? So we got another 13, 32.5, 40, 45.5. And then we're going to say for the consistency, very consistent, but I wouldn't say the consistency is very good. I'd say average again. Like, let's say we'll add another 13 to that. So we got 4 sets of 13. Oh, there's a whole set of cups here. Some kind of crap is going on here, as always in LA. There's always something. Oh, there's even oh, this is serious, man. They got news cameras. They got it cordoned off. People look upset. Can't see it from your angle, but oh shit. Lots of cars, lots of tape. Lots of Popo. All right, so I'll have to refigure this out, but the cigar itself was just average. The Cusano 18 Churchill, wish I could say it was better. But I guess I'm going to sign off now. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you being here live from Los Angeles, where we just had some kind of shooting or something here in Koreatown. So hope you guys are doing well. We'll be back again next week, next Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern. I'll be back home in Baltimore, so we'll be back again. So hope you all have a great one. And yeah, there it is. Thanks from LA. Hope you guys have a great one. See you guys next time. Thank you, Mom. Appreciate it. I will sign off now. And from, I don't know wherever we are, we're on Western and 4th Street. All right, have a great one.